Welcome into a new edition of KSR's Monday Happy Hour, presented by Country Boy Brewing, a special Memorial Day edition. As a lot of people have today off for the holiday, honoring and remembering our U.S. servicemen and women who gave that ultimate sacrifice. But here at KSR, we don't take holidays. In remembrance of them, we're still working and making the most of this Monday, the last Monday in May, the unofficial start of summer. I've got Tyler Thompson with us, rocking a Country Boy shirt, looking good.
Yeah.
Adam Luckett is joining us, and Daniel Hager in. Big day for Daniel after the big news that came out noon today. But first, as is the case with all happy hours, I'm going to start with a Country Boy. Anybody else BYOB today? Am I the only one partaking?
I'm partaking, but I still don't have actual Country Boy. So I think they felt bad for me that I can't buy it down here in Tennessee. So they sent me a shirt and a hat and a sticker. But I'm fixing this mistake this weekend. I'm going to go up to Kentucky and buy some. I'm going to load up. So
I have my two favorites. So if we go long enough, I might have both. A little key lime, got to have that in the summer. And my absolute favorite, Witness the Citrus. Country Boy glass. We're fully branded over here. Lucky, you boozing or are you behaving over there?
I'm behaving, unfortunately, right now. Now the key lime is this like? Does it taste like the pie?
Not quite, but it is very good. It's one of those. I don't want to have 6 of them because there is a lime to it. But in the summertime,
Right.
when you're outside grilling, great beer.
Okay, so it's more of the twist of kind of the lime beers that are out there that have just the hint of flavor. Okay,
but it's better than all the lime beers. Check them out, Country Boy Brewing. Couple locations in Lexington and Georgetown. New one coming. You can get it at KS Bar and Grill. Like I said, the key lime is on shelves now. I was excited to see that when I was doing my Memorial Day shopping for the grill this past weekend. But everybody knows the routine here. What is this, number 5?
Number 5. We made it 5 episodes in.
Love it. We're having a fun time on Mondays at 4 o'clock. We appreciate everyone joining us. Leave us comments here on the YouTube. I'm going to pull that up so I can read some of those. We like having our viewers chime in from time to time, and at the end we'll take questions from the group. Got some questions from KS Board also, but we've got the news topics, and even though it's a holiday, we have huge news in Big Blue Nation, as today was Selection Monday for the baseball NCAA Tournament. That's why Daniel's here. He's our resident baseball guru, been covering the team for us for a couple years. Daniel, going into it, we weren't feeling great, even on the board. Little uneasiness, a little tension after several bubble teams might have stolen some spots over the weekend in their conference tournaments. But about halfway through the show, we found out that the Cats are in. They're a number 3 seed heading to Clemson. It is the 3rd straight NCAA tournament for Kentucky for the first time ever. How are you feeling watching the selection show? And I'm sure you're thrilled that they got in, right, Daniel?
Yeah, I think it's funny to go back and look at because we were all stressing. Miami gets in. We're like, oh boy. Kansas State gets in, Oklahoma State gets in, all these teams that are on the bubble. Then it come to find out UK wasn't even on the bubble. They were not even in the last 4 in. So really excited for them. Of all of the draws, I really like the Clemson draw. Coastal had been hot. I didn't want to go there. Corvallis, they really hadn't played anyone this year just because they're independent. They've been scrapping their schedule along. But Clemson, I love that regional. What was it? They lost 6 of their last 7 or 7 of their last 8 regular season games, or they lost that in April and then they kind of finished strong. But falling to North Carolina in the tournament as USC Upstate doesn't scare me at all. West Virginia doesn't scare me in any sport ever. Bob Huggins, you do not scare me. So of all, none of these teams scare me. I don't know if that's just being too used to success these past 2 seasons, coming out and winning 2 regionals, but just looking at that, I think Kentucky has a really good draw and really good odds.
I like the draw because in the projections leading up to today, it was Eugene, Oregon, Oregon State, and Corvallis. I like that it's drivable. Hopefully a lot of Kentucky fans will get there. As you said, the matchup's a good one as Clemson lips into the tournament, even though they're hosting. The stat that we all know and stands out is Kentucky leading in 28 of 31 SEC games this season. They dropped the ball so many times. No team shot themselves in the foot as much as Kentucky, but they still get in. You got to think, Adam Luckett, can they turn the tide and reverse their fortune now that it's postseason baseball? I know it didn't work out in Hoover where Daniel was last weekend, but in so many close games, eventually, Luck's just got to get on their side, right?
Yeah, like the bubble banter kind of reminded me of March Madness. Like we all thought West Virginia would be in, and then they were out and they put North Carolina in. So can Kentucky be kind of this North Carolina? And so I think that if you were going to rank draws, like to Daniel's point, I think it's a good matchup. The good thing about playing baseball in the SEC, when you get in the NCAA tournament in that pod, you don't have to play an SEC team. So that takes out like 13 of the best 15 teams in the country, just from that aspect. So you're in with a team you can beat, and it's setting up a West Virginia team they handled last year. I believe they played a couple times in regionals. And so if you get past West Virginia that first game, I think that's the key. Like, you want to get past that first game, win that first game. And if you do that, I think you feel like you have a really good chance to go and win that whole regional.
Tyler, over on the board, as we were watching the selection show, you noted, and many people noticed, it just felt like one SEC team after another. The top 16 seeds felt like over half were SEC teams. Just shows what a gauntlet the league was this year, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was 6 of the top 8 seeds were all from the SEC. I mean, the easy joke is it just means more, but it really was. And I forgot how stressful it is to watch those selection shows. And of course, Kentucky was last, like one of their pods or the regional they were in was one of the last ones. And so we're like sweating it out the whole time. And, the bubble teams that Kentucky was in contention with for spots kept getting named, Oklahoma State, Arizona State. And I had convinced myself that like right before Kentucky was named that they weren't getting in. I even wrote on the board, they did this to themselves. They only have themselves to blame. And then a second later, Kentucky pops up as the number 3 seed. So thank goodness, because I hated how the regular season ended. The series sweep at Vandy, it's just a terrible way for it to end. But now they've got a chance to turn around. And like Daniel said, they've got a pretty favorable draw.
Much like a basketball game, live tweeting a selection show is dangerous. Really because you can get cold takes exposed very, very quickly.
I think midway through it, I tweeted out a meme like the Joe Biden. It's like, it's Jover, and I immediately was like, let me delete that. I don't want to put that out there. And then like I had the post ready to go, not making it, and sure enough, it did it and shocked me. And I always was kind of on the wagon of UK did enough to get in after they swept the Oklahoma series. I remember I put in the recap, I think this is enough to clinch. I know there had only been 3 SEC teams since 2000 with 13 SEC wins to miss compared to however many there's been that since then. But man, losing 4 in a row to end the season really puts you on edge. And I think if they had just won one of those Vanderbilt games or the game in Hoover, we all would have been chilling, relaxing on Memorial Day, just waiting to see where they were going to go. Made it a little bit more stressful than it probably needed to be, but it's a good day when the Cats are back in the tournament. 3rd straight year, never been done. So excited for that.
As you all know, there's something real to writing a KSR post before it happens, Curtis. Now that I know you did that, that's what got him in. Last night, I wrote, Indiana goes up 3-0 on the Knicks. There was probably 10 minutes left in the game, and I'm laughing because the fact that I wrote that out, I knew it would change.
Carl Towns, he just knew you wrote that. He just wanted to prove you wrong.
We all have exampple of writing a post, they were getting ahead of something, only for the exact opposite to happen. So, Daniel, I'm going to credit with you with writing them getting out. We've looked forward to what they'll do in Clemson. We'll find out Friday at noon on ESPNU. But while we have you here, Daniel, you made the very short trip to Hoover last week. I don't think we had a chance to talk with you since. I know you were disappointed, but what was it like down there for your one-day trip to watch Kentucky in the SEC tournament?
It's fine. That was the 3rd SEC tournament that I've done, and 2 of them have now been one-day stays. So it was fine. Like, get there early in the morning, do the breakfast there. I got there early, so we watched the first game, Georgia and Missouri, I believe, or Missouri and whoever they played. That was a slog. Of course, Missouri was 3-27 in the SEC. So that really showed the determination that I wanted to be there just in case they lost, to at least get my money's worth and watch some bad baseball. The UK game in Hoover was really disappointing, where I was the only UK beat writer there. Everyone was talking to me, and it's like, have they been like this all year? Like, how are they even in tournament talks? Because, I mean, they scored on an error in the 3rd inning, and after that it was like uncompetitive at bats and going down 1-2-3. And I think we were even joking about the Oklahoma pitcher on the board because he just looked goofy, and he was just rolling him up. He was just rolling him, sitting him down. So definitely disappointing. I love Hoover. I love going up there. But, man, it has not been kind in the games that I've been to. I think they were 1-4 in the 3 years that I went up there. At least I got one win over Arkansas last year, but that was it.
They got to hit the reset button. The Oklahoma game was disappointing. In that picture, I called him CC Sabathia. He had his hat sideways. He was kind of chubby. Leaving bases loaded in the first was a heartbreaker, but still the Vandy series sticks out to me. So Kentucky's got to figure it out. That was a horrible way to end the year. They're lucky they punched their ticket. Are they going to be able to hit reset? Does Mingione have some magic to dial them back in and win some games?
I hope so. I mean, the last 2 years they've really picked it up in the postseason. Won both regionals, which I don't think they've ever done that before. Won back-to-back regionals. I just hope that they come out with a game plan that's really good for this regional. I don't care what you have to do. Throw Ben Cleaver against West Virginia in that opening game. Get yourself a win. Get 1-0, and then go from there. See, maybe you're playing USC Upstate, and you can maybe throw a bullpen game, which I don't know about that. The bullpen's been kind of shaky, or at least throw Nate Harris, the freshman. But if they can have a good game plan, if Ryan Schwartz is healthy, he got put in concussion protocol after taking one off the temple in the Vanderbilt series. So I don't know. I hope that they've got some magic to them, but we'll see.
Well, like I said, that gets going Friday at noon for the Cats. We'll find out then. Before we move on to our next topic, congratulations to Daniel. He's been covering baseball for us for 3 seasons, as he noted, but he's moving up to a full-time news desk with On3. So he's changing up roles a little bit with staying within the company. So we're excited for you, Daniel. Congratulations.
Thank you. I had my first shift on Friday, and it's great. The guys there are great. I'm just happy to stay in the family with all you guys.
What random stuff did Jamie have you write about on Friday? I guess what was happening in the news on Friday, I guess.
A lot of SEC baseball. So I wrote 3 things on Vitello, Jay Johnson, 2 on Bianco, Caitlin Clark, and then Stephen A. Smith, everyone's favorite.
Oh, yes.
So,
yeah.
Yes.
He got a BA in YouTube, and he minored in baseball beat writing.
I think he's got a master's in YouTube. He can teach the YouTube class.
Yeah, he's close to that doctorate in YouTubeology.
And the YouTube channel will continue, right?
Yes, it will continue.
I know a lot of relieved Kentucky fans hearing that.
I'm a workaholic, so whenever I'm not doing baseball or the On3 stuff, I'm still doing the YouTube stuff. I enjoy it. So
you can follow it at, what is it, Daniel Hager on YouTube? I think
it's just Daniel Hager YT on YouTube.
There you go.
YTD.
YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, Steven, I thought we were supposed to have 50K. We're only at 49.2. That's too close to 50. What the hell's going on? Come on, people. Tell your friends. Put up billboards for us, whatever it takes. I'm tired of seeing 49. That's too close to 50 without being 50. I guess we've added 200 since the last time I complained. So we're growing. We just need to go a little further. Next topic, Adam Luckett. I think you're well versed in this one. You wrote a post with it. With all things going on at the SEC spring meeting starting today or tomorrow down in Destin. Read Adam's post on KentuckySportsRadio.com. But as always, they have a lot on the docket this year. I guess the hottest topics will be the House settlement, revenue sharing, all that mess, Tennessee's defiant behavior, changing schedules, playoffs. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It's going to be a busy week down there for coaches and administrators of the league in Florida, right?
Yeah, like this thing used to be really quiet. Like nothing really went on. Just people just saying, "Hey, nice to see you. Let's get a beer here." But now it's a little different because of everything changing in college athletics. I think the big thing, obviously, really, it's like a couple big things. First is like, when is the settlement going to come? What does that mean for everything? What are the Title IX implications? Like, is there going to be, how are they going to distribute the money? Is the SEC going to have a rule for all that? And then you get into kind of the college football playoff. There's more college football playoff expansion on the way. Greg Sankey's kind of running that. There's a lot of controversy around the SEC and Big Ten pretty much going to get 8 of the 16 bids, and just how does that work and how does the tournament format work, I think is obviously a big question. There's kind of under the radar a little bit. Like there's some, I think people are upset with Tennessee in the league. Shocker. Because they keep creating kind of rules to like keep loopholes. So like the settlement is coming. And basically, there's still going to be lawsuits, but they're trying to prevent that as much as possible. And Tennessee is pretty much saying, you can't tell me what to do. And so their governor created a bill which pretty much says they can keep their collective paying athletes, and the NCAA can't. They have no power to them. And so the big part of this settlement is going to be they're setting up a clearinghouse to basically approve or not approve NIL deals, and it's basically to kind of prevent the pay-for-play that we've had kind of set up here in the last few years. So those are really the big things. This is not the most exciting stuff. Some people may be falling asleep as I'm talking about all this kind of legalese stuff, but they're all really, really important. The playoff stuff is huge because this is kind of it. Because in 2026, it's a long ESPN deal that gets locked in. Like, this is going to be our format for the next decade and maybe even longer. And how this works out will determine, like, do we stay as an organization, as a college athletics organization, or do they go to a super league, like for football only? So that's going to kind of determine that. And then for trying to figure out, they got to get the settlement passed, which is expected to happen. And once it does, can they operate within a structure? There's kind of rumors swirling that the commissioners are trying to get their members to sign a document pretty much saying they won't sue. It's kind of a rebuttal to what Tennessee did by filing a bill to kind of give them a loophole, like I mentioned earlier. So that's all going on. But with all of that, there's infighting almost between the commissioners too, because I don't think the Big 12 commissioner and the ACC commissioner and the Notre Dame athletic director are very happy about the SEC and Big 10 like eating up these bids. And so all of that's kind of going on, and Sankey's he's at the forefront of that. And they're just trying to, we'll get his State of the Union when media days arrives in July in Atlanta, but this week we will hear from him, and there'll be talks about probably the 9-game conference schedule and a bunch of other stuff, and that'll get reported on. But it's whatever happens in those boardrooms in Destin is going to kind of, to me, this week kind of sets the tone for these next few years. It's creating the structure of how they're going to go about their business. And then there will be ripple effects from that, and we'll have to see what they are down the road, but it's a really important week.
How do you think it looks for like Danny White in Tennessee at these meetings? Do they walk in with their chest out? Do they kind of lay low in the back of the room, skip some of the dinners and the events? Do they lay low, or do you think they go in middle fingers up the way they've been acting the last few months?
Yeah, that's hard to say because we know, like, we kind of understand the coaches and we know the coaches' cliques, right? But like, what are the AD cliques? Like Mitch has his guys, right? So he's got his, I would assume, 4 or 5 guys that are, I would say, more of traditional, and Danny White's a little less traditional, but there's probably a couple guys like him. And so I remember that when Mitch had that press conference when Stoops and Cal were in their beef, he talked about how, like, because I think Hunter Yurachek, the Arkansas AD, said something about them our coaches don't fight, which is funny because he ends up hiring Calipari. But he said, I take a note of that. So, I know who you are, and the yada, yada, yada. So maybe there's some clicks in there. Maybe there's some infighting. So that's it. And the presidents too, like, are the presidents, are they in there? Do they have cliques, and are they in there fighting when they have their meetings? So yeah, how that all goes. But I definitely get the feeling that Sankey and I would say Mitch Barnhart, Joe Castiglione at Oklahoma, who are kind of the two, I would say, established old athletic directors, are the two that probably people look up to in that room the most. I'd assume they're not very happy with how Tennessee keeps operating.
Other than when the Cat's Paws puts out their annual yearbook, this is their biggest week. Daryl Bird goes down there and posts up on the beach and gets some interviews. We'll hear a little bit from them over at Cat's Paws this week. It's was it last year when Stoops made the kind of comments that sounded whiny to him about everything going on? Do you think Stoops will keep it quiet this year, Tyler? In the past, he's gone on the Feinbaum set on the beach. Like I said, he had those comments come out that didn't paint him in the best light. Do you think he hides in the shadows this trip to Destin?
I think he learned his lesson from last year, and he's going to be very quiet. I mean, if this Kentucky football offseason has told us anything, they're just going to be very quiet. So they are going to not make any noise, not make any no attention.
No headlines.
Probably, big hat on the beach, big sunglasses. So I think he's going to lay low. But one person who may not is Mark Pope, right? Last week on KSR, Mark Pope talked about he was banging the drum for a 40-game regular season in college basketball. So that'll probably come up. So I have a feeling, I think it was it Adam, you who predicted we'll see Pope on Feinbaum's set at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they interviewed him last year, and his daughters were just like hanging out.
That's right.
I
forgot about that.
So I mean, I think I got a minus 650 ticket that Mark Pope will appear on Feinbaum this week. The interesting thing about the Pope's 40 game, I think some people kind of scoff at that, but with the revenue sharing coming, these schools really have to look at ways they can make more money. Like that's you get more games, especially a place like Kentucky. That's a revenue stream. It's a way you can make some more money. And it's also why I think that 9-game, because they don't have a schedule locked in for 2026. Like the 2026 season is essentially 15 months away, and they don't know who's playing who and what the schedule is going to look like. They need to get that locked down now. And I think part of the reason they're going to be able to get that locked down is because adding an extra game is going to equate more revenue. More revenue means you have more capital to spend on players to meet that threshold. And so the basketball thing is interesting to me because we know the 9 games going to pass, but do the other sports kind of look at, expanding their season? And I think that's an interesting kind of proposition Pope has.
Well,
Pope talked me into 40... it. Go ahead, Tyler.
I was just saying maybe going to 40 games is how Kentucky gets back to Maui because, they have all those non-conference games. They have to have at Rupp. So maybe by adding more home games at Rupp against, the cupcake teams, they can finally find a way back to Maui, which would be awesome. So
that's what I was going to add. Pope talked me into it when he said, get me back to Maui, home and home with Kansas, home and home with UConn. They've got to have the 20 games at home for revenue purposes, but adding 9 more to the schedule, you could have a lot more fun. Pope seems to welcome that. And Daniel, that's more clips for your YouTube, more games, more YouTube videos. I know you're for the 40-game season, right?
Yes, for sure. And going back and seeing all the old Maui clips, it just gets really nostalgic. I was young, but I remember like Maui with John Wall, and then the next season, Terrence Jones dunking on dudes all in Maui. Like, I want that now. I want to be able to go to that now. I want everyone to go to that, and I need that. I need more marquee games at Rupp. I need more marquee games around college basketball. Like, the sport is growing. NIL is growing the sport. Guys who would have gone are coming back, and for the sport to continue to evolve, that's what we need more of, good home and homes.
And we need Mark Pope in a Hawaiian shirt.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would have a different one for every day.
You want to talk about Facebook gold. Like, you put that up there, then we'd be cooking.
Well, I raised this question on our board. I'll raise it here. Without saying Mark Pope, who is the first coach in Destin to rip off their shirt and just cannonball into the ocean? Because Pope would probably be number 1. He'd have the sunscreen on his nose, Hawaiian shirt coming off. But who do you think of all the coaches down there and all these busy meetings, who's having the most fun on the side? Football or basketball?
Bruce Pearl will rip that shirt off. He's already showed it on several occasions. I want to say Sam Pittman, too. Not that I want to see Sam Pittman without his shirt on, but he's like such a easy,
the first one at the bar
guy.
Yeah. There's a basketball coach named Bucky. So if I was going to bet on guys to take their shirt off and jump in a body of water, he would be near the top of the list. On name alone, I've never heard him talk, but his name's Bucky. So I think the odds are pretty high there.
If
so
Musselman was still at Arkansas,
he
would be mine. If Muss was still there, we've seen him do that before.
That's true.
Just winning a round of 32 game. So who's to say he wouldn't just do that to get things going down there?
Well, we know Calipari loves a good tan. When was it that picture came out of him beside the pool? I think it was sometime during COVID. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, at the New Jersey beach house.
Yeah. Can't rule him out either.
Arkansas, if Musselman were there, he and Pittman would definitely lead the charge in fun outside of the meetings. Anyone else, if we were to just walk into a Destin Tiki bar around 11 p.m., anyone else we'd see? Is Beamer? Would Beamer get out?
I could see Beamer out like during the day. Like, I think Beamer would jump in the pool.
He's got some dad energy. He's got to go to bed
definitely
early.
have the sunglasses on. So
Stoops is more of the hotel bar until it gets too crowded, then disappear to another quiet area, have a little bourbon. But I'd see him mixing it up. Maybe next year, we don't even need like media credentials. We should just load up and get a KSR house and just linger around the beach in the bars in Destin for
That wouldn't
the.
be creepy at all.
I don't care. That sounds a lot more fun than covering the actual meetings. That's where the fun happens.
Sounds like a normal vacation to me.
Run it up the On3 ladder. We'll get that approved in accounting. I don't know who's covering it for On3 right now, but add at least
travel budget.
Yeah, add at least 4 more names. Well, all week we'll be covering that from afar. Like I said, we won't be there. It'd be cool if we were, but there should be a ton of news. As we mentioned, Feinbaum's always down there on the beach. Tyler, it's her favorite time of the year for Feinbaum season. Maybe he'll go shirtless.
Gotta love it.
But
there's going to be so many jokes about Feinbaum getting sunburned. I mean, it's going to be on loop. He's going to look miserable out there. He's going to be in like the most beautiful place in the world with the crystal blue waters, the white sand, and he's going to hate every second of it. I love it.
He does get a lot of interviews, though, so I'll be tuning in. It is good Feinbaum time, and there will be a lot of news coming from that. We'll stay on top of it. Luckett will really be keeping a close eye. As I said, he's got a good preview already on KSR now. Go check that out. Also coming up, as we've been telling you throughout our first 5 KSR Happy Hours, it's the Woodford Legends Invitational, the women's golf event featuring several familiar names from the LPGA. We're getting close. It's Saturday and Sunday, June 7th and 8th. With events starting Tuesday of that week leading up to the big tournament. You can get your tickets at the woodfordclubfoundation.org/tickets. It's very inexpensive to attend. It's right in the backyard in Lexington over at the Woodford Club in Versailles. Kids get in free. The event also gives back through KVC Kentucky, the title charity, which provides behavioral health care, substance abuse treatment, crisis intervention, and family strengthening services to children, adults, and families across 81 counties in Kentucky. So it's for a good cause and a lot of fun golf with 2 women teams, again, featuring several big-time LPGA names like Julie Inkster, Pat Bradley, and Laura Davies. Check them out, woodfordclubfoundation.org/tickets. Should be a lot of fun over there. I love a good golf event. What's next on our list of topics here? We need the ding. You know, we also have a spot here where Around the Horn gone. I feel like they could just slot us right in, even though similar format. Did you all watch the finale of Around the Horn, by the way, as I drift off topic here?
I just saw like the clips on social media.
Yeah.
That was like when I was in high school. I just remember like watching that every day. That and PTI. I remember coming home and watching that every day.
Oh, it was innovative 23 years ago. I watched the whole finale. It's the first full episode I've seen in at least 3 years. They did a good job sending it off, but it probably needed to be sent off. It's getting pretty stale there. Much love to it, though. Congratulations on a billion years being on TV. Tonight on TV, NBA playoffs. We got Minnesota and OKC Game 4. Minnesota got within a game a couple nights ago in Minnesota. They're playing again tonight to try to even the series. OKC is a 3.5-point favorite. Anybody want to log an official pick on Thunder Wolves tonight? Are you team Randall Dillingham or team Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Cason Wallace? Love having 2 cats on each side.
Team MVP. Shai, the MVP. I got to go with him.
I did see the Thunder like 0-5 against the spread in playoff road games to this point. So that's something to monitor. Eventually they'll probably get one, but that's something to monitor here. Because last game was just like, whoa. I remember it felt like I just sat down and then dozed off and looked back at the screen. They were down 35 within like 5 minutes. It's like I went to get a bag of chips out of the pantry. By the time I got back to the couch, they were down 15.
There's really no point in watching the first 3 quarters of these NBA playoffs. I mean, the Thunder, they've had some blowouts. I wish they'd have some tighter games, even though they just lost that one in Game 3. But my goodness, Daniel, last night, the Knicks-Pacers, it is just turn it on in the fourth quarter, see what happens, because nothing else matters when the Knicks and Pacers are playing up until the last 12 minutes.
I feel like the NBA has always been like that. I feel like that's one of those dadisms that you hear. It's like, that's why I don't watch that crap, because it's 20-point blowout and then it comes back and wins, or either that or it's an actual, like the Thunder Wolves game from the other night is actually a 40-point loss. I'd say I want to go with Randall Dillingham because I think the NBA needs a Randall versus Cat finals matchup because those guys were traded for each other. I think that would be the most interesting storyline. You know, the Thunder are so young. They've got a while. Their window is only just opening. Those guys, I love Ant. I remember watching him play at Rupp when he was at Georgia. I think that would be the best case scenario, and then the chaos that would ensue if the Knicks were to somehow actually win the finals. That would be all.
I don't think New York would still exist if the Knicks made it to the final. Either way, it might not, but like they have like losing their mind. It's so entertaining. Like, I love it.
It's just the perfect Knicks for the Pacers to beat them again.
Selfishly, I don't really care. I grew up loving Reggie Miller, but now I'm rooting for Carl. Indianapolis sucks, and I like New York. I guess as a kid, I'd never been to either one of them, so I just picked the one closest to me. Now that I've experienced both, get out of here, Indianapolis. But selfishly, I need the Knicks in the finals. I'm going to New York for 2 nights in June, and it just so happens that Game 4 of the NBA Finals is one of the nights I'm there. I cannot afford a ticket, but I would love to just go stand in the garden or outside the garden and be a part of that crowd. It looks pretty almost too intense for my liking, but I hope it lines out that way. But I know we were all thrilled last night. Tyler, you especially loving Carl. 20 points in the fourth quarter to bring them back. They were down by 20 points, and Carl took over in the end to get the Knicks back to within a game.
That was awesome. Like I didn't stay up to see it, but I kind of wish I had because it was looking really bad for the Knicks there for a while. You know, they were down 2 games. But they're coming back, and it's just great to wake up and like see positive Carl Towns like news and tweets because he gets roasted so much on Twitter. But it was cool. I was watching the Today Show, and like they had like a clip about Carl. I was like, there you go, Carl. He hit a 3 and got fouled and still made it. Completed the play. Like so happy for him. So only positive Carl stuff going forward. And speaking of Carl, he met up with Mark Pope last week. Pope was up in New York. I thought that was a cool part of the KSR interview that Pope said he met with Carl, and Carl was talking about taking his kids to Rep Arena one day, which that's really cool. I don't know. Carl's not a dad yet, but I don't know if like Pope is kind of letting something out of the bag. He's like, I don't want Carl to be mad at me, but he told me that one day he wants to take his kids to Rep Arena. So Carl may be on like baby daddy watch or something.
He and Jordan are getting pretty serious. Jordan Woods, I see her at all the games. Mentioning Pope, this is also the Pope series. Former Pacer, former Knick. Someone on KS Board mentioned that. I don't know if you all thought that before I read that last night. Another interesting twist. I didn't really love, even though I was happy for Carl last night, seeing Carl dominate the end of a postseason game in the city of Indianapolis really tugged on my heartstrings. Because, what a novel concept. Maybe we should have tried that 10 years ago. Hate to open that wound, but I couldn't help but think that last night when he took over late in the game.
You mean they should have shot more than like what Pete knows at 8 or 9 3-point attempts in that game? You would like to see their all NBA guy maybe shoot a 3 or 2?
I'm still haunted stats from that game. Why am I doing this? But stats from that game. Carl was 7 for 11 from the field and did not take a shot in the last 7 minutes of the game. Why would we give it to Carl? But the Knicks did, and they're within a game of the Pacers. That one is tomorrow night, but tonight we got Wolves, Thunder. I hope we see a little more Dillingham. He didn't play most of the playoffs, and I think he got like 2 minutes in game 2, around 10 minutes in game 3. So be on Rob watch tonight. That one is at 8:30, I think. Like I said, Oklahoma City, 3.5 point favorite.
There it is.
Like Steven's got the stat ready.
I knew he had it.
Love it.
I think
reliable.
There's no way he didn't have that already pulled up. Like that wasn't him typing on the fly. He has that button ready to go. I wanted to bring up Lexington Sporting Club in our next topic. I went to a match on Saturday. They've been over there for quite a while. I finally made it over to Lexington SC Stadium. Guys, I don't think any of y'all have been, but Lexington's got a real gym over there. That stadium's beautiful. And even though the game match was a draw, it was still an awesome time. I can't believe it's taken me this long to get there. If you're in Lexington, around Lexington, get over there. I know Louisville's been going at it for a while. Steven behind the camera is a big fan of the Louisville club, and they get crowds. They've been doing it big for years. But Lexington really has something special going on. I wrote about it on the site. I don't think it's gone up yet, but we went on just a date night because I saw on social media it's $1.50 beer night. I saw it like 2 hours before it started. I was like, okay, we'll go pop in. But I had a great time. Luck, and I know you'd appreciate a good $1.50 beer night. The West 6th, I know we're a country boy program, but the West 6 beers were only $3. So $3 hot dogs, really a great atmosphere. When we were leaving the house, my wife actually told me, like, have you looked at yourself? Like, I'm not leaving with you dressed like that. And I didn't realize I'd done it, but I looked in the mirror. I was wearing their home uniform with matching shorts, a scarf. I had my hair slicked back with no hat, and I looked like a 40-year-old thinking he was going to play in the game. So I did have to change clothes before we went, but had a great time over there. I know we got the legends in baseball in Lexington, been going at it a while, but do you all have any, I assume you haven't been to Lexington SC yet, but do you all have any semi-pro or minor league events you like going to? Tyler, there's a ton of stuff in Nashville, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, we've got an MLS team now, Nashville SC, and those games are so much fun. Like, just awesome. They built a new stadium a couple of years ago. It's the biggest soccer-specific stadium in the country. It's awesome. They have a good time. Nashville Sounds, that's our minor league team. They have a great time there too. It's like with minor league teams and games, it's almost you're going more for the fun than you are the actual sport. Like, we go to those minor league games and, it's cheap concessions, cheap beer. They do theme nights. It's awesome. It's a really good time.
I'm a little disappointed I hadn't been before. Stephen behind the camera, I'll go ahead and talk trash. Louisville comes to Lexington July 26th, I believe. I better see you there. But I am now, I think they're called the Railbirds, the Lexington club. They fire off green smoke when they score. They have drums in the crowd. My wife couldn't bring her purse in, but you can bring a big drum, whatever. Go Railbirds. But actually, now that I see it, here's my scarf right here. Eat it, Stephen. We're coming for the USL Championship Kentucky division, whatever it's called. I'm still learning, but I wanted to just use this space to give a shout out to Lexington SC. Had a great time. Daniel, you're a Lexingtonian. Get your ass over there. You like fun.
I've driven past it multiple times. It's a great looking stadium. I'm just not a soccer guy. And I used to be a Lexington Legends guy before they dropped to whatever league that they're in now. It was kind of cool seeing some of those single A guys, but now it's like, who really cares? But I do need to get over there. I'm not the biggest soccer guy, but it is a great looking stadium, I'll admit.
You don't have to like soccer. There's like a lot of stuff going on outside. If I don't have a kid, but if you have a kid, I feel like you have to go. Everyone there was like a dad drinking a beer, watching his kid run around in the play area, big cornhole boards. There's a stage. I sound like I'm working for Lexington SC right now. I'm not, but I just had a lot of fun. Looking forward to going to more of them, especially on July 26th when we beat Stevens Louisville FC. We'll move on to our final topic, which we'll just stretch into more randomness and whatever we want to talk about as we got a little more time here left in the happy hour. Tyler asked on the board for some questions. We're going to go to the YouTube and see if we have any questions on there. It's a little slow, by the way. I know you are watching, so ask us some questions here.
People have better stuff to do on Memorial Day than hang out with us on YouTube. What's that about?
Well, let me tell you about slow this weekend. My goodness. Running the site on Saturday, I was like, will this day end? Will anything happen today? I was just searching.
The SEC baseball tournament.
It felt like no one was on the internet. I was like, is something going on? Like, am I missing something outside? Where is everybody?
It didn't help that Twitter was down for a lot of it too. So you can't even keep up with the conversations of everything going on. I'm trying to pull up our questions people ask. While I get to these, I was going to bring up grilling as one of the topics. Have you all thrown anything on the grill this weekend?
We are grilling steaks tonight, but I went to a barbecue yesterday at a friend's house and he had a brisket and it was awesome. It was delicious. And then somebody else at the party brought ribs that they did. So big fan, enjoying the grilled meats. Good times.
Is it you called it a barbecue there? I saw a debate. Is it a cookout? Are you going to a barbecue?
Yeah, I generally call it a cookout. I don't know why I called it barbecue, but I don't know. It's like I wonder if that's like a regional thing.
I think barbecue is just fun for people to say, so they just
say that.
I like. Did Steven just pull up KS board on the? Look at this guy, killing it behind the scenes. Just pull up the questions where you can read them. Well, since we're talking about grilling, Fake Roy Kent asks if you're a griller or a smoker. I'm a Traeger guy. I actually have it preheating right now for a little steak when we're done here. It's kind of a cheating way of smoking. I don't like to tell people that because it's like, come on, get real and do it the right way. But I enjoy the luxury of hitting on my phone what I want the temperature to be. But that's what I do. Tyler, are you charcoal or propane on the grill?
I am charcoal. You can kind of see my grill in the background. I put the top up so you can see it. It's a UK Blue Weber Performer. I love it. So it's charcoal, but it's got a propane starter. So it kind of takes the hassle out of starting the grill. I love grilling. It's like very ritual thing. You know, I don't mind that it takes a little bit longer. This is Remy chiming in, by the way. He's a really big fan of the grill. But yeah, I love it. Have a grill and beer while you wait for it to get ready. Can't beat it.
Daniel, you're fresh out of college. When I was in college, I never lived anywhere where I could really grill. Were you able? Have you done some grilling, or are you waiting for that to get away from campus and get into your own place?
Yeah, only at the family house, which I'll be heading tonight. Do a little cookout. I think I'll discern a cookout as an event where you're grilling, where people are there. And I think a barbecue is kind of like something where you're throwing it on all day, and then you come home that night and eat. I feel like a cookout is like a social event. I think that's kind of how I would define that. But yeah, where I'm at right now, no grill here. Love the old air fryer though. But I do like to grill when I can do that, and I'll probably do a little bit of that tonight.
I use the air fryer 6 nights a week. Best thing
Yeah.
ever invented.
We use it all the time too. We just got a Blackstone.
Oh,
Ooh,
I
I'm
want one.
jealous.
I want a Blackstone.
They look so cool.
I wanted one for so long. We've gotten one, but we get it, and then of course I don't ever like set it up. So I still got to get out there and like get it all set up. But I'm really excited about breaking that out this summer and making a bunch of different stuff. So yeah, very excited about entering my Blackstone years.
Your favorite grill is the Roosters Grill down the street.
That's right.
Honest. Whatever Roosters is cooking up,
That's right.
is your cookout.
That's right. Well, actually, so I told my wife first thing I think I want to make some wings on here. Let's do that one Saturday.
I need the Blackstone life. Traeger's nice, but I'm really jealous of all Blackstone owners. You got to set that thing up and get. I guess hibachi is what I always see people making, or breakfast. Hibachi and breakfast. Looking forward to hosting a happy hour soon.
Nachos, pizza. I've seen all kinds of stuff people make on that thing. They just love it. So I'm excited to check it out.
Oh, you're going to kill it in the dad game. Steven, can you pull up more fancy graphics, or do I need to scroll through here? Look at this. That's why he makes the big bucks. Anon 16866638861. We can get that. We can get you a user ID changed if you need to, Anon there. But favorite ice cream
Anon's a popular
flavor?
name. You got to go deep in the numbers to get that cleared.
Yeah, that seems computer generated when they signed up. Forgot to change that. But talking ice cream, I guess it's ice cream season, and our friend Anon Several Numbers has the what's your favorite ice cream flavor question. Anyone got strong opinions?
Cookies and cream, hands down.
Yeah, I'm pretty
By far my
boring.
favorite.
Like chocolate cookies and cream for me.
Yep, chocolate chip. Grater's chocolate chip in particular, the best ice cream on the planet.
Chocolate chip cookie dough or cookies and cream. If I can mix both, that's usually the go-to option. I live dangerously close to Grater's out here in the Hamburg. It's trouble. I started an April diet to get ready for vacation coming up, and I think I've gained 12 pounds since starting my April diet, and Grater's is a big part of that. Tyler, do you have any local Nashville ice cream places you like?
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think it's specific to Nashville, but Jenny's is good. You all have Jenny's up in Lexington? It's pretty good.
So.
I have a ice cream hot take. I hate mint ice cream. Mint chocolate chip, no. Like anything
Agreed.
mint, absolutely not. Get it off of my plate. Get it out of my bowl.
No
That makes
mint,
sense.
like not Girl Scout thin mint cookies?
I'm just not a mint person. Like I'm also one of those people who has that weird genetic thing where cilantro tastes like soap, and mint and cilantro are kind of similar. So I wonder if that's like related. I don't know.
It's too fresh
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
I don't think the mints aren't really mints. There's something else, but it's awesome. So that I would make an exception for thin mint. So I'm the same with Tyler on cilantro. What is that?
Get it
out.
off my plate.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
It's like
People don't ever just use a little bit of cilantro. They put like a mound of cilantro on things. I hate it.
It's like if I want ice cream, I want something really like if I want that mint flavor, I'll just go brush my teeth. Like I get that away from anything ever.
Get that out of my chocolate.
I feel that way about cinnamon. I think it could be years of fireball abuse, but recently my dentist went to use cinnamon fluoride and I grabbed her wrist like no cinnamon. You got to have berry or something back there. No cinnamon for me, please.
Is that like a bad Skyline experience or something?
And it's too much hanging out with my friend Manny, I believe, is the problem. Steven.
Oh, that would have been really cool had it worked.
Oh, man. We're still working on that. There we go. Can we start? Oh, From UK Doc NFL, UK Doctor in Florida, I assume. Can we start a GoFundMe to get the Denver Witch to break the Indy Lucas oil curse? For people that don't know what that means, on the KSR road trip to Seattle, we stopped in Denver, like people driving to Seattle do. And we went to I forget what they call it, but it was pretty much a witch shop. A lot of potions, a lot of scents, a lot of books with spells. Mario did not even want to be there. He wanted to stand outside. But we tried to reverse some curses. I think it worked on that trip because we beat Gonzaga. But do we have any magic to get it out of Lucas Oil, Tyler? No one hates that place more than the two of us.
It's terrible. What was the story that Ryan had the sage and he left it in a puddle or something?
He dropped it in water. The thing we're supposed to burn, he dropped into a cup of water.
So let's put it in a plastic bag. So in case he tries to do it again. Yeah, I mean, we'll try every solution known to man if we go back to Indy. But if we go back to Indy, it's because Kentucky will have made the Final Four. So that in itself is a good thing. So I don't know. I'm ready. Indy has got to have some good memories in it somewhere for us within the past decade.
This is twice we brought up that Indy Final Four trip. I can't do it again. No more on the
No, it feels like all roads come back to 2015 and Wisconsin. It's not a good thing. We need a happy memory in Indianapolis.
It broke us. All right, here we go, Stephen.
I think that might have been the last one. So.
Oh, okay. I'll go to the YouTube. We have some on YouTube. Cole.
Is this thing on?
We love Cole. Cole is on KS board more than any of us. He's one of our favorites. This will be one for Daniel. He says, do we know if UK will be staying in Clemson's dorms or West Virginia or USC upstate? USC upstate. Beer kicking in there. Do we know where they're staying? Is it too far in advance to know that yet?
I forgot about dorm gate.
Yeah. I remember fighting so much crap that week from all these whiny West Virginia Mountaineer fans saying that we did it on purpose and all this stuff. It's like Railbird has been set here for a year or way longer than that. It's like if you really want your spot, come get it. Like go to the whatever Marriott and demand it. Like the dorms are fine too. Like, have you all been to UK's new dorms? Like, I don't really know what they were complaining about because some of the new, especially the nicer ones, even at Hagen Hall, which Drew, you always talk about, it's really nice now in there.
Miss that courtyard, Drew.
I missed the old Kale there. Bring it back. Yeah, the dorm gate, was it Indiana that was doing all the complaining?
Yeah, Indiana and West Virginia. Yeah.
Typical Indiana behavior.
And honestly, those dorm rooms are probably nicer than whatever Quality Inn or Sleep Inn that they'd rather go to. So just a bunch of crap to stir stuff up. And you see where that got them kicked right out of the Lexington Regional. So hopefully that happens again with those guys.
Did I see another question pop up, Steven? Something about old school KSR? I think there we go. Question for Drew and Tyler. What was the toughest part about working at KSR when it was a new site?
Oh man,
how much time
difficulties. Yeah, like just the website just breaking. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. We had to fill just as many time slots, but there were times when it was literally just me and Drew. Like it would just be the two of us writing. So those days were long. But
I do not miss the night post because we would start at 10 a.m. and we wrote shorter posts, so it wasn't quite as thorough as what we're putting out now. But you would get through a whole day scrambling, and then at 8 p.m. is the equivalent of what we put up in the morning. But every night, eat dinner and then write that damn thing. The news and views.
Yeah, and like trying to be creative in who you dedicated it to, because like the pattern was if it was somebody's birthday that day, it'd be like Daniel Hager's News and Views, and you had to write like 2 or 3 paragraphs about the person. Yeah. It kind of got old. I remember one of the most surprising scandals during my early KSR years. I dedicated the Morning Post to Ellen DeGeneres because she was at that time. This was like 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And at that time, she was like huge. She was, talk show host. People lost their minds we won't have to go into it because it's not a great memory to look back on why people lost their minds. But it's just crazy to me. But yeah, the night posts were not fun. The technical difficulties, the server crashing. Yeah.
You also the comment section get a little
wild. Section, moderating the comment section. If you all think KS Board is bad sometimes, go to the old school KSR comments. The day we shut that down was not a sad one for me. I'll say that.
People felt like they could write anything when they were putting anonymous names. With all due respect to Anon16668752 that we just met, we don't mind anonymous people, but it got pretty nasty, and you'd have to stay on top of that of all times. The technical difficulties were the worst, though. When Kentucky won the national championship in New Orleans, it was at least an hour where the website didn't work, and we're doing everything we can to get up and running, which is basically calling the server and telling them to fix it. But imagine you're wanting to get your work done, go hit Bourbon Street, and the website is just completely fried. So
well,
the technology,
those 2 hours it was down could have paid for like an entire year worth of KSR for our salaries, because that was the biggest traffic time. But this is more recent. But when the French hacker hacked into KSR, I think I was in Greece or something, and you were in charge of the site, Drew. That was crazy.
you were a suspect being across the pond.
I went abroad just to hack the website. Yeah.
Yeah, we love On3 for many reasons. It's given us all jobs, including Daniel, who just got the big news recently. But the best thing On3 did is gave us a server and a website that works, some stability. With all love to Matt and Hubby building a cheap blog out of the basement at Transy. Behind the scenes, it was just a bunch of cords scrambled and plugged in random places. Now we're a real company. We got any more? I'll scroll the YouTube if Steven doesn't have any dialed up. Someone asked me to rate.
We got one from Drew. It's from Daniel Hager. How did he get in the chat?
We got hacked. The French hacker's back.
The French hacker's back.
Let's see. Which one do I want to share?
What about Daniels that said, Drew, can we get a tidbit from the infamous Bahamas trip?
Oh, I know. I have several tidbits. Let's just say our basketball team had fun on that trip. Willie especially. There was a night where in the Bahamas all the bars were closed, but there was like this little deli that would stay open maybe 24/7, and we learned that they sold canned beer. So my friend Sean Rose, I'm going to call him out by name, he ordered, it might have been 24, it was either 12 or 24 canned beers, and they just set them in front of us on the bar at like 3 a.m. I guess they were about to close. It wasn't 24/7, but it was very late. We should have been in bed, and he orders basically a rack of beer because the casino was open. And a player I won't name, you all can probably guess, he's tall, he was injured, wasn't playing, walked by, and was like, y'all need help? Like, maybe we do. I won't confess to too much, but we had a little help knocking some of those beers back at the casino late at night. So, some of the players, and they were of age down there. You only have to be 18, I think. Some of the players had a good time. The 4 years later, which I think was the Tyler Hero season, that group, yeah, because his parents were there, much tighter security. Players would walk through the casino with security guards. There was no gambling, no borrowing random cans of beer at 3 a.m. They were on their best behavior. But the year Kentucky went undefeated, there were no rules in the Bahamas. Absolutely none.
Well, the second trip, I mean, Kentucky's guys were kind of under lock and key, but the other team's players weren't. I remember being at the bar, the casino bar with you and the KK Megabex people. Yeah, those guys were fun.
My guy Fundich.
That's right.
He was one of their main players, and we looked over, and the sun's about to come up. I think they played Kentucky that day, and he's just got a stack of chips, having the time of his life. Then wasn't allowed to play zone against Kentucky later that day. Fun times. Steven, you can dial up more, but Tyler, I wanted to bring up, I haven't even had a chance to look at it myself, but you did the KSR summer calendar.
Yeah.
So I had a question. What's on the summer calendar before we move on and enjoy our Memorial Day evening?
A lot more than you would think. Every year I kind of do this both as an exercise to inform people, but just to keep me up to date on what's going on this summer. And there's something literally every week. You think summer's a slow time, but it's really not at all. Between SEC spring meetings, Kentucky baseball, that's this week. We got Otega Oweh's decision coming up this week. So May 28th, he has to either pull his name out of the draft or decide to stay in. So we will know theoretically by late Wednesday night or early Thursday morning. I think the expectation is still that he'll come back to Kentucky, but it'll be nice to have that official. Then we've got football recruiting kicks off this weekend, right? Adam, you wrote a big primer for that. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, Yeah, it seems like every weekend. Whoops, I knocked my table. Every weekend in June is like a huge football recruiting weekend. So I was talking to Nick about it, and he said usually for Kentucky football in the summer, there's like 1 or 2 big weekends, but this year they're doing more because there's just more players they're going after. So that'll be interesting to follow. Similarly, Kentucky football camps are coming up. Kentucky, the Mark Pope father-daughter, father-son camps are coming up next weekend. So that'll be our first glimpse of the whole team kind of all together, doing those youth camps. That'll be fun. And then, basketball recruiting starts up, and we've got Pope and Jasper Johnson and Malachi Marino are going to the Team USA under-19 training camp in mid-June. That'll be really neat. So I think Jasper and Malachi are 2 of 33 players vying to make the Team USA team for the FIBA World Cup. That'll be fun. And then Peach Jam's here. SEC Media Days is in Atlanta this year. So it's talking season. And before you know it, it'll be time for football, which, ready or not, here it comes.
I'll just go around we'll go around the round table here to put a bow on this. Lucky, we'll go to you next. And she brought up all the camps and football around the corner. I know they've been very quiet, but is there anything that we need to know on May 26th? Any recruits to watch or any updates? Or is it just a mystery until they kick off in the fall?
Well, they have 1 commit, and so they have a lot of catch up to do. So to Tyler's point, part of the reason they're having these 4 big weekends is because they just don't have the volume, right? So they've got to take a lot of swings, and like these 4 weekends will tell us, and we probably won't get the answers to July and August, but these 4 weekends will tell us kind of like what their strategy is in the offseason. Right now it's looking like they're going to just need a monster transfer class. How many recruits are they able to get signed? Like what is how are the recruits viewing them? Like when they get on campus and make decisions. And so it's a critical month from a roster building standpoint, because they've kind of put themselves in a position where it's like, holy cow, we're going to lose some players. We're going to have to really just kind of load up in the portal, and it's going to have to be kind of extended high school recruiting, where it's going to be like where you're probably taking chances on guys that were maybe only in a program a year or 2, and you're adding them in before they've kind of proven that they can really come in and be starters for you, because you're kind of missing out on this class. And so these next 3-4 weeks are really important.
I see another question from this Daniel Hager guy. He's very active both on the stream and in the chat. You want to ask him yourself? What's this Toledo question, Daniel?
Yeah. So when you and Roush are up in that press box that night, what are the vibes going to be if we're going to the 4th quarter and it's like a 17-13 game? How are you all feeling?
I think everyone with this team, the expectations are fairly low. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. The thing I'm really interested in this whole season is just what is the vibe in that stadium, and what is the vibe in the parking lot before the games? Because I think that is good. That's honestly, to me, the most telling point. I think for us, we can kind of get lost sometimes because our jobs are heavily online. We're dealing with people who are online. That's not necessarily the same people that are at games. It's a lot of them, but that's not necessarily all of them. And so to me, like what would the vibe in the stadium be? Because that, like, if you talk about if this thing got south fast, like that would be if they just lose the in-crowd people and people stop going to the games, and that would be, to me, the thing to watch if the season doesn't go well.
That's exciting.
I was kind of shocked last year. They were dropping these games and they still got amazing crowds. So
I think
that was the things I'm most excited to see is like, how does that translate over to this year?
Yeah, I think that's obviously that was an example to me. Like online is not necessarily the same as people that go to the games, but I think there's more. Like the Louisville game, people were chanting for John Summerall, and you could hear it. Like I could hear it in the press box, and the press box is closed, right? Like Drew, we can't hear a lot of stuff, and we could hear the chants for Summerall.
We can barely hear the music.
Yeah, so that was notable to me leaving the stadium that day. And that's something that I've thought about a couple times throughout this offseason. So that would be the thing I think to watch mostly. Outside of wins, losses, we'll see what they do and how the season goes. But I think it's really, really important for UK. If things go the way UK wants them to go, they really need something good to happen early in the year. If something bad happens early in the year, I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome it from a morale and keeping people locked in perspective.
How much will motivation factor into the season? Motivated Mark Stoops is a big talking point on the internet.
Well, I think people need to be ready for motivated to be nationally trending during some of these Kentucky games.
Oh boy,
good or bad, good or
motivated,
win or loss, they are going. That's going viral.
They need to lean into that. I know I agree, 100%. Kind of mocking the Stoops situation, but just lean into it. One of those anonymous accounts, Big Blue something, made the motivated hype video last week. I'll admit I laughed. I think UK should jump into that.
There's a couple of those memes out there that, let's say they were to beat Ole Miss or they're up in the fourth quarter. Just throw that thing on the big board and see the reaction you get in the stadium. I bet you would be pleasantly surprised what you would get from the crowd. Yeah, I do agree that they should lean into it. Because the thing I think Kentucky fans, they do want something to believe in something to make it fun. And that would be, that would be it could be a nice twist if they were able to do it.
What if he says it at SEC Media Days? What if he, during his intro at SEC Media Days, if he just throws in, I am motivated, that would be perfect.
I would bet that he says it. Yeah.
That's a headline. Can't do that.
Oh, I know. Don't give him headlines. I don't want you to twist it into a headline. I want to give a shout out to Julie Sheeving. She's late because she was on a wine run, but she is our #1 fan in Michigan. Shout out to Julie.
Congratulations, #1 fan in Michigan. That's big. Before I put Daniel on the hot seat, also shout out to Eddie Congress. He's got some great comments, including he got emails about the French hacker back when that happened. Shows he's a long-time listener. He remembers how KSR would go down every time there was a big recruit. Every recruitment, you'd count on the website crashing. It's amazing we've had the success we have when in any big moment the website just dies. That would have been a good opportunity for another website to get that traffic. And I believe he said, yep, up here at the top, I love Daniel's YouTube channel. So another compliment for YTD over there, who I'm now putting on the hot seat to wrap this up. Where are the Batcats going to finish in the NCAA tournament? We winning a game? We moving on to the Supers? How's this going to look?
I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to go out and say it. They're going to win the Clemson Regional, lose in the Baton Rouge Regional, just like they did in 23. That's what I'm going to say.
I love the spirit. Love the attitude. Part of that is probably the disappointment and the Hoover trip still on your brain, and you want to see something good. But we're going to take that as KSR's official pick. Batcats are moving on to Baton Rouge. Write it down. Winning the Clemson Regional. Watch Game 1 Friday at noon on ESPNU. Stick with KentuckySportsRadio.com the rest of the week because we never stop working, even on holidays. Luckett especially will be staying on top of the spring meetings in Destin. I wish we could be down there in Destin, but sadly we have to cover it from home. Everyone enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day. Get some stuff on the grill or whatever it is you do. And a special thank you to Country Boy Brewing for being our sponsor every week. I'm on number 2. Might see how far we can take this party as the night goes on. Tyler has gone full Country Boy in her gear there. You're going to have to put #ad or something looking like that.
I know. I'm not good in hats either. So this is the fact that I'm doing this on YouTube is a testament to how much I love them. So.
Yeah. It's a great look. Keep it up. Country Boy's a great beer. Remember to get your tickets for the Woodford Legends Invitational. And as far as the happy hour goes, we'll be back next Monday at 4 o'clock, as is tradition, with another roundtable. We don't know who will be on it yet, but we'll be here talking about the latest news in UK land and whatever else comes up. But for now, we'll sign off. Thank you so much for spending an hour of your Memorial Day with us. There's that Country Boy kicking in again. And thank you to Adam, Daniel, and Tyler for joining me today. It was another fun one. We'll see you next time.